Hey guys, it's my turn to cook tonight. My cooking habits are a little different than everybody else's in the family. I tend to just search for things in the fridge and put them together. So tonight I'm going to make salmon patties because we had this nice chicken of the sea canned pink salmon in our cupboard that's been in there for a long period of time, and I figured, why not make salmon patties? So I've been looking for other ingredients to make my salmon patties with. Breadcrumbs are kind of a must because you need something to help stick it together when it's all gooey. We have an egg, our salmon. We got some Dijon mustard. I decided to get a jalapeno. We got some bacon. I also have some green onion, some fresh basil leaves from our basil plant, some black pepper, and some salt. I'm a pretty simple guy when it comes to seasoning. It's basically all of our ingredients to start out. The first thing that we are going to do is we're going to open up our chicken of the sea pink salmon, because chicken and fish are the same thing. That's why it's chicken of the sea. Nobody thinks I'm funny. Now the salmon is in water, so and it smells like tuna. But we're going to drain this in the sink. So we're going to drain this in the sink and get rid of all the nasty water in there. Would you like some pink salmon? It smells like tuna. You need a mixing bowl. Or I need a mixing bowl. You'll need a mixing bowl. I'll use this nice clear glass mixing bowl so you can see the pretty pink salmon. This looks more like white salmon, but I can't be too critical. It is cheap canned salmon. So we have our salmon in a bowl. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my egg. I'm going to crack it into there. We'll save the shell for our compost. And we just kind of mix the egg and the salmon up together. Now, a lot of the recipes that I have read about say to use one egg. It seems like I've read one somewhere where somebody used 2 eggs per can. I think it's just kind of your preference. That's a decent consistency. I don't want to have to use a lot of breadcrumbs because I'm on a diet, so I'm cutting back on my carbs. If we put 2 eggs in here, we're going to have to add more breadcrumbs. The other thing I'm going to add to this mixture is my basil. So I'm going to cut this real quick, or actually I'll just rip it apart with my fingers, because just kind of mince it up, grind it up with your fingers. Yeah, and mincing it with your fingers kind of gets those juices going in the basil a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and add our green onions to that. I'm just going to chop some pieces off these. Green onion will actually continue to grow in your fridge, so if you just cut a little off as you need it, this bunch will continue to grow a little bit in between usage. So let me grab a knife. Now I'm going to go chop. Okay, so I'm putting in about 2 tablespoons of the green onion, and we'll stir that on in. So I just added about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of Dijon. I eyeball everything, so hopefully it's correct. And I'm actually debating here either adding more egg or adding some mayonnaise. I'm actually thinking that the healthier choice here would be to add another egg. So I'm going to go ahead and crack another egg. So instead of 1 egg, we're going to go 2 eggs. Like I said, I'm kind of making this up as I go, so bear with me. We're going to add another egg, and then what I think I'm going to do is take 2 of my pieces of bacon, and I'm going to chop these up and put them in there as well. But I'm going to cook these first. And I'm actually probably going to cook this jalapeno before I put it in there. So let's grab another egg, throw it in there, and then we'll cut up the jalapeno and the bacon and we'll cook it together in a frying pan, and then we'll throw it in there as well. Because the salmon is technically already cooked, you're not going to have the salmon patties in the frying pan long enough to cook raw bacon if you haven't pre-cooked it. And the reason why I'm cooking the jalapeno up front is because the raw jalapeno might be a little too hot. I'll try a piece of that just to make sure. I'm thinking it's going to be too hot. And normally I eat it with something, so we'll see. It tastes fresh. It's pretty hot. It's got a nice burn to it. Hold on a second. Jalapeno is not too bad. I do feel it right in here though. So we'll still fry that jalapeno up with the bacon, and hopefully by cooking it will help reduce some of the juices in the jalapeno, because the juices are really what are kind of burning it. So I've added that second egg, and that gives me a little more slimy of a mixture, which is about what I want. The breadcrumbs are going to help firm it up a little bit. And now I'm going to cut up maybe 3 pieces of bacon, cut up the jalapeno, I'll throw them in a frying pan and cook them all together. Anytime you're cutting raw meat, I would not use these wood cutting boards, I would use a plastic cutting board. Speaking of boards, if you have noticed our wood countertops, we actually built those out of 2x10s. We built these, we have a video up on it. It's one of our older videos, so, you know, cut me some slack on it, but check that video out if you're looking for some countertop ideas. And these came out beautiful. They're treated. That was one of the things that I was running into with the inspector, is that you have to have something for a countertop that can withstand a lot of water. The treated boards were okay, and the newer treated wood, the chemicals that they use aren't harmful for you like the older treated boards. So they worked out well, and then we stained them obviously and sanded them down. If you're looking at some countertop ideas, this is a great do-it-yourselfer, and it's gotten us by a lot longer than I thought it would. They're still in great shape. So, all right, so we've cut up that bacon. Now we're just going to cut up this jalapeno. And for something like this, I definitely don't want the jalapeno seeds, because those are going to be really hot, and if somebody bites in the jalapeno seed, they're not going to like it. And I'm going to cut that jalapeno down nice and small, because I just want little pieces of jalapeno kind of mixed in with my patties. I apologize for not having multiple angles on this, but with only 2 of us here, it's hard for one of us to film, one of us to take care of the kid, and one of us to actually cook. But that is how small we cut our jalapeno. So it's pretty small, and we're just going to take the jalapeno and the bacon, throw it in a frying pan, and fry it up real quick. Rachel Ray, I'm using your pan. When we're frying this, we don't need to put any oil in there, because it's bacon, and bacon's going to cause a lot of grease. In fact, I brought the olive oil out and had it setting aside as one of my ingredients, but if the bacon puts off enough grease, we'll actually just fry our salmon patties right in the bacon grease, because you're going to get a lot more flavor that way. I'm actually going to add some fresh ground pepper to this. I love pepper. Okay, so we've got our kind of bacon bit jalapeno mixture here. I'm actually going to let this cool off a little bit before I add it to that, because it'll just cook the egg. We're going to move that maybe to a paper towel to help dry out some of the bacon grease, and then we're going to mix it in with this and add our breadcrumbs. So at this point, I used 1 whole jalapeno pepper and 3 pieces of bacon to add to my mixture of 2 eggs, 2 5-ounce cans of pink salmon and water, about 2 tablespoons of the green onion, a few fresh basil leaves, about a tablespoon of Dijon mustard to a tablespoon and a half. Okay, so I'm going out on a limb here. I never use measuring devices, but since I have some viewers and I'm supposed to be teaching you how to do this, I'm going to go ahead and measure out how much breadcrumbs I'm actually putting in here. I usually mix breadcrumbs in until I get the consistency that I want. I'm going to go ahead and do a half a cup. I think a half a cup of breadcrumbs would be about right for that mixture. Give it a good mix around. And we're getting it back to a tougher consistency. The breadcrumbs really kind of get in there and soak up some of the excess egg that we had put in there because we put in the second egg. I'm going to go ahead and add in my jalapeno and bacon bit mixture. Stir that in. Now comes the fun part. We're going to form these into patties and place them on a dish, and then we're going to fry them in our frying pan after we wrap them in bacon. So I want these are kind of a main dish, so I want them to be pretty good sized patties. Shauna has never had salmon patties, so this will be her first test. If she does not like salmon patties after this, it is completely my fault. I've got one salmon patty that's a little bigger than the other. Well, they're both pretty good size. Now I am going to wrap my salmon patties up the best I can with some bacon. This will help hold it together in the frying pan as well. Yeah, that's what our salmon patties look like right now. Now we just need to fry them up and see how they taste. So our frying pan still has the fond and the grease from the bacon earlier. So I'm just going to go ahead and add these salmon patties to that. And I'm going to turn this down to kind of a medium heat. Okay, so these have been cooking for about 5 minutes. Now, a couple things I didn't show you that I did do is I put some pepper on top. I seasoned them with pepper. And then I also have kind of had them covered as they cook. Again, I have this down on medium heat because we're trying to slowly cook the bacon so that we get all of the egg inside of the patties cooked as well. That has been about 5-6 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and turn them. And after I turn them here, I'm going to go ahead and put some pepper on the other side as well. So I'm going to cover that back up and I'm going to let it cook at least until the bacon looks cooked on the edges. Alright, so it's been about another 5 minutes on this side and I think they're looking pretty good. Why don't you come take a look? The way that we're going to serve these is we're going to serve them kind of over a salad. So I'm going to go ahead and put them on the plates with the salad. Okay, and that's about it. Now for the record, I have absolutely no idea how this is going to taste. Bacon and jalapeno, you can't really go wrong with. We'll see what the queen of the house thinks when she tastes it, but I think she's going to like it.
I may pour this so that way I can dip it in some of this if I don't like the first bite. Doesn't smell bad. Well, that's good. That's okay. It's got a little bit of a kick, but in a good way. I would actually eat this again.